The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. Well, there we are.
Hi.
We're back.
We are back. Hopefully for good this time. I think we're moving in the right direction. So we are back. Hi.
I think we're moving in the right direction. What does that mean exactly?
We are. I think we're moving it well, baby steps. It was a kind of a difficult summer in some ways. So now that we're on the road to, I guess, recovery, things are better.
Yeah.
And so, so we're going to be back. I'm excited. Season 3 is underway in the audio cast.
Yay!
And, yay! And hi, Ed. And so, we're back. I'm excited, especially after the last weekend we had.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about because we got
a ton.
We got to back way up because I want to talk a little bit about our time off, and then I want to talk about our your vacation.
Yep.
And then we got to talk about what's coming up. In the podcast. So actually, this live cast, there's no guests. It's just us.
Just us this time.
Yeah.
With stories, with lots of stories and info
pictures.
And pictures.
I
purposely didn't put a lot of pictures on our Facebook page and in our group because there I am, the queen of cheese.
That's just one of the pictures that we'll get to tonight. See, now, just so you know, it is the cheese castle, which we'll explain in a little bit.
Right.
But that's where once you've had too much cheese and you can't shit anymore, they put you on that throne. So she's actually she's getting prepared to, take a dumpski is basically what's happening there.
I will tell you, Todd, that place was amazing. And we'll go into it in just a few seconds. But that place was really cool. And you were the one who suggested it to me, of all people. You were the one who said you should go to the cheese castle.
Here's why, because you were demanding that I take you to a cheese factory, and I really had no interest in doing that. And so the best way to get you out of it, or get me out of it, I should say, is to basically make you go by yourself.
Honestly, I really wasn't demanding. I was really seriously joking with you, like 95% of it. 5% of it, I still was holding out hope that you'd actually go.
Right.
But I wasn't taking it that seriously. It was more fun to watch your reaction. But then when you suggested the Mars Cheese Castle, I was like, why wouldn't I go to the Mars Cheese Castle? Duh. And it was fun.
I'm sure it was.
It really was. I'm just sharing our lives so that everybody knows we're here.
That's what I was doing as well. So
were you? Oh, look at that. These amazing minds think alike. We're so
Hey, Renee. Cute. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Renee.
I know it's been a while, but we're glad everybody's joining us tonight.
Yes.
And if there's somebody that's usually on that you kind of know, but they're not on tonight, reach out to them and say, hey, what you doing? Tammy's on tonight. So
hi, Tammy. Mwah.
Oh, God.
Hi, Tammy. Oh, you just hate that I love everybody. I will get to it, but I was just so happy to see everybody Saturday night. It was amazing to me. Just great. It's really great.
So, and then she kisses you back. Mwah. So.
Love her. She'll be on. There's Jay.
We're going to have her on. And we'll get to this, but one of the things that's going to be new about this season is we're going to have roundtable discussions.
Yeah, I love it.
And so we're going to have people on that aren't, hi, Barb, that aren't always with us or haven't always been on the show, but people that we know that kind of have their own thought process on stuff, their own ideas, and we want to share different ideas. Well,
the whole premise from the very beginning was, hi, Bree, was a safe space for people to come discuss their beliefs, their thoughts, their opinions, their experiences without judgment, without anybody getting after them because of the way they feel, think, experience things. And so we just really want to kick it up a notch, and we want to look at different opinions, maybe get a little bit controversial here and there. Maybe there's a topic that you've been dying to know about, but you just don't really know much about it. So, for example, I would like to do a show on light workers.
Hmm.
At one point, you said to me, this was months ago, you sent me an article and you said, I think this could be you. And I looked at it and it was fascinating. And so I would like to maybe do one on that. We could do a nice roundtable on investigations and experiences in investigations and the equipment that we use. We used some equipment together last weekend. I got to watch you use some of the equipment that you have for the first time. You got to see some of my stuff working for the first time. It was really cool. So I think everybody needs to learn more about all of this stuff. And whether it's woo woo, paranormal, investigation, whatever it may be, I think it'll be fun to get different opinions. Some may be something we agree with, some may be something that we have a different perspective on. So it's going to be a really interesting season. Drew.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Betsy.
Hi, guys.
And the other thing too is I think that as we discuss these things, especially the woo-woo stuff, what we come to realize is that we're all at a different place in our lives, in our journey. And so what you believe or what you experience is different from what I believe and what I experience. And so I think as we move forward, we have to we have to understand that some people are not going to see it exactly as we see it.
Right.
And it doesn't make them wrong.
No.
It doesn't make them wrong.
We're not all in the same exact place. And that was actually a point I wanted to bring up later on, too, that, we're all experiencing things in our life, whether it's abilities or something paranormal, anything, we're all in different parts of our lives. And if you're not open-minded about it, what are you really learning? How are you evolving? How are you understanding more about the world? We can close ourselves off from everything, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily the best thing to do.
And just because somebody says that's the way it is, doesn't mean, I mean, that to me, then you might as well just go and do religion. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, I
because
totally agree
it's
with you.
basically the same thing. It's fine to have faith in things and have a belief because you know what you know, but somebody else may know something different. There's troublemaker Damon right there. We're going to be sharing some of his, we're going to be sharing some of his handiwork a little bit later on as well. So, because I've got some stuff loaded up for that. So
he's been keeping us entertained for the past few days, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. So.
All right, so we got a lot to get to tonight. It's just Sandy and I. We have not done a live cast really by ourselves of any length in a long time.
Yeah.
But I want to back up a little bit because anybody who's kind of followed us or been around us, you, Damon, Trouble. Elvis did 2 songs. One was called Trouble, and the other song was called Trouble. 2 very different songs, but they both refer to you.
For those who don't know, Damon is the founder, one of the founding members of APS, Adirondack Park Paranormal Society. They work very closely with my group, Fort Schuyler Paranormal Society, and we're all good friends. And so we have a group chat going, and Damon is just hilarious.
We just got so much to get to tonight.
Yeah.
We got to talk about dancing on graves and everything. Okay. So let me just back up because I want to go back a couple of months. And I just want to get something off my chest. It's been there for a while. I feel much better about it, but there's something that I want to say. And that is that being an empath, you are pulled to help people. You are pulled to help people see clearly. You are pulled to help people do good things. Hey, Ashes, thanks for being here tonight.
Hi, Ashes.
And sometimes you don't take care of yourself. And you let the cup runneth dry, as they say. And that happened to me. As anybody who's been around this group for a while knew that I was not feeling well for some time. I was dealing with headaches and some other stuff. And I finally got diagnosed about a month ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah. And I found out that not only did I have Lyme's, but I also had an infection in my nervous system. I'll just put it that way, like the central nervous system. And so I was sick, like really sick. I've been on IV meds for 2 weeks. And then in addition to some other meds. So the reason why I bring this up is not because I want you to feel bad for me. Although I did I just noticed how much hair. Look at how much hair I've lost from it. You see it?
But yeah, I see it because you're
Look at it.
pointing at it.
Yeah, but
I
look at
see
this.
it
I've got a big
because you're
bald spot right here. Do you see that? Look at
I
this. Is
see it
all
because you're
gone.
pointing at it.
It's sad.
Ah.
I'm sad about the
And
whole
hopefully
thing.
it'll be temporary though, because what I read about it said that it usually is temporary. So
I am feeling better. I have some side effects like
Mhm.
exhaustion and stuff like fatigue. We'll just call it that. But here's what I wanted to say about it. There were a lot of people who were like, well, what happened to you? You used to be there for us. What happened to you? You're not on your journey right now. Get back on your journey. Do your thing. You're not participating enough, you know? And I got that from several locations. And I just wanted to take a moment to say, fuck you, because I needed to take care of myself. Nobody else was helping me. Nobody else came to my fucking rescue. And so, it was time for me to do for me. And so that took me out of the circle for a while. That stopped me from helping other people for a while. And it is what it is.
Mhm.
So,
and I'm just going to add something too. Until you have been in the life of someone who is going through what you went through for the past several months, you have no idea how difficult it is. And
well, I even think it created some problems for us a little bit early on. Yeah.
It did because the dynamic was so thrown off for us. And at the same time, me being an empath, a healer empath as well, Damon, me being a healer empath as well, and you and I being connected as much as we are, and I know we joke about it a lot, but it is very true. I had headaches the entire time that you were sick. And I was feeling a lot of it. I wasn't feeling it obviously to the extent that you were, but I was going through it as well. And headaches that I never get. I don't get headaches. And the fear for you and the concern for you and being 4 states away from you, I can't go knock on your door and say, "Todd, how are you today?"
Thank God. Because
Yeah, I
like 3
know,
days
right?
of that was enough.
Oh, shush. But I will say this, I 100% agree with you because that's part of the problem is that people don't try to understand each other enough and give each other some slack. And so we even had our issue. Now, we didn't have a ton of issues. It wasn't that, but it was just the dynamic was so thrown off for us. And so I, for one, am just so relieved. The day that we got the diagnosis, I just felt so much better. I could feel you getting better. And let me just say one more thing real quick. There's never going to be a right time, and this will lead into vacation. There's never going to be a right, perfect time to do anything in your life. But if there's one thing that you being so sick taught me, it's that if you care about someone, you love someone, and you want to be in their life and see them, anything in life, do it. Do not wait. Do it. And that's what we did. And there was no way I wasn't coming. We didn't know what we were going to, because I planned this back in March. We had no way of knowing what I was going to come into because we didn't even have a diagnosis until a few weeks ago. But thank the Lord, you are on the road to recovery.
Thank God for the enema bag. And I'll just say that it wasn't really an enema bag. And it wasn't a colonoscopy, but I was basically walking around with an IV bag hanging on my body for 24 hours a day for 2 weeks.
But I will say this, just because we had a rough summer of you not feeling well, okay, just because did mean that we were busting each other's chops the entire time. And what did I send you? I asked you if you wanted a backpack to carry that thing around, a little Todd going to school. I sent you one of those huge fanny pack pictures, like you could carry a fanny pack around.
Yeah, you're hilarious.
But it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was
For whom? For whom? For whom? You don't know what it was like. Here's me trying to get up in the middle of the night to take a piss. Okay, now you're on an IV, so it's pumping additional liquid into your body. And then you wake up in the middle of the night and you're all tangled up in the cords and the tubes. And all you need to do is jump up and go take a piss, but you can't because you are stuck. And then you have to turn on the light and unravel everything. And by the time you get there, you're already nearly pissing your pants. So
Thank
don't
God
tell me that, oh, it was fine. It was just this bag.
That, you know what, though? Thank God that it wasn't like, because when you first told me you were going to have it, I pictured the thing that I had in the hospital, that big machine on the big pole that you've got to, try going to the bathroom.
Right.
So, Jay. So, yeah. But luckily it wasn't as big as, we thought, because we didn't even know how mobile you'd be. We
Right.
didn't even know if you could go anywhere. I was like, well, we'll just grab pizza and hang out in the living room if that's the case. What are we going to do?
Well, I wasn't
But-
going to have that happen because I'm not having you in my house that much. But yeah, I mean, we just didn't know.
Yeah, we had no clue. So thank God everything is back on the road to better.
All right. So now that I got that off my chest, and it may come up from time to time.
And it might.
Because I might just want to say, fuck you to people.
It's called self-care.
I want to talk about the vacation.
Okay.
So as you all know, Sandy decided she was going to come out to visit me months ago. And to be honest with you, I thought one of two things will happen. Number one, we'll end up hating each other and she won't come, which is what I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
Or two, I would die from whatever horrible disease I was apparently carrying around in my body. And then we could turn it into a funeral and a memorial service. So neither one of those happened. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, I'm coming in 3 days. And it's like, oh, shit, here we go.
I'll give my side of the story.
Well, I was actually, once we got into the week, once you were actually on the plane, once you were actually in Chicago, I was excited.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you came. I had a great time. I will say that. And it was hard to see you guys leave because you've become such good friends, and spending time with you is actually a lot better than spending time apart.
Yeah, it is. It was
because the dynamic is different. And be honest, I didn't tease you as much as you thought I would tease you.
No, we were actually like, I don't know. We were
friendly?
Like really like
friendly.
Yeah. I mean, you were the one who said to me, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be really awkward. And I know, Renee, I love him dearly and he loves me. Don't let him fool you. And, but it wasn't the least, but so I messaged you because when we got into Oshkosh, we went over to your house and you took us first, the first day on Friday. And we went to this great place called Mahoney's to have lunch. And then we were driving around Oshkosh a little bit. And then we went to a cemetery. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so that night, my luggage had broken, of course, my luggage broke. So I had to go try to find luggage. So we were on the way and I was texting you and I said, so did you think it was awkward? And you're like, can I say the F word? F no. Although you said it already. Fuck no. And I said, see you dork. I knew it wasn't going to be. I knew the whole time it was just an extension, but it was actually better than I thought it was going to be because we truly were just kind of like this. It was just really normal. It was like for the past almost 2 years, we had always just hung out in person. It was really nice. And I knew you and Dave would love each other. You guys were like BFFs too.
Yeah, we get along really well.
Yeah, you do. And so it was just really, really nice.
But Dave gets along with everybody, and we'll get more into that as we talk a little bit more about some stuff. I don't know how deep we've got to get into everything early on, but we went to a couple cemeteries. We went to Riverside Cemetery, which is a huge cemetery here in Oshkosh.
Yeah.
I think anybody who's ever died in the city is buried there other than a few people. And then we went to the Mental Health Institute Cemetery, which is a cemetery that was put together in the late 1800s. And I think ran through the late 1960s or early 1970s. But basically it was when people no longer had families to take care of them and they died, they would take them out to this open area, bury them with a number, and that was it.
Yeah. And there was over 800 of them in that field.
Yeah.
And the sad part was that it really, I saw pictures of it a few years ago. They have tried to take care of it. They put a flagpole with a flag up in it. They have a memorial stone there. You have to you park. It's by Lake Winnebago, and it's called Asylum Point Park. And you park and you have to walk through the woods a little bit, which in and of itself was really beautiful. The trails there are super nice. Then you go down this old road and there it is back in the woods. And it was weird because I started getting a headache as we
Mhm.
walked in. And lo and behold, you started feeling some pressure too. And we didn't tell each other right away. And then the problem is that it wasn't taken care of that well. And that I think was part of the energy that was there for me, was almost like they knew it wasn't taken care of, and it was sort of like an unresty kind of
Well,
thing.
kinda like "Don't forget us" kinda thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that kind of thing. And then we were standing there, and almost at the same time, I was thinking it and you started to say it and I knew what you were gonna say. You're like, "It's almost like they're watching us." And there was one section down towards the path of the woods where we came in that I could picture them in my mind's eye, like, watching us, like they were along the fence.
Right.
And the fact that you said that too kind of, validated that for me, because I feel like they were watching us, they knew we were coming, and that's when we started to feel, like, the headache, the pressure. You get it in the back of your neck, I get it up
Right.
here. Um, and so people who are open, I found that the spirits tend to gravitate towards us, and they tend to, almost summon us in some ways. And so I think that's probably what happened. They were watching us come in and they knew that they could at least give us those feelings, because it did. It felt sad. It did feel sad in there. It really did.
And then we got the hell out of there because the mosquitoes were so fucking
Oh,
horrible this weekend.
what is up with mosquitoes this year? I
I don't know.
don't remember it being that bad.
We gotta back up a little bit because actually your vacation before you even got here started in Chicago.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And this is one of the places that we just kept hearing over and over and over was a place called Nuts on Clark. And even Dave said to me, I've heard that like 10 times today. So even he was getting tired of hearing
I
about
have
it.
to tell you why, though. Quick story. Years ago, because Chicago is a main hub. Chicago O'Hare is the main hub. So we've been through Chicago O'Hare. We've never been to Chicago, but we've been through the airport to connect. And they have this store, and so does Midway. Midway is the second little bit smaller airport in Chicago. We've been through that too. And both of them have this great popcorn and nut company called Nuts on Clark. And I had it for the first time a handful of years ago. And I just think that they have the best popcorn in the world. And so I was obsessed with getting more of it. And I wanted to bring Todd some. And so I was trying to figure out how we were going to do it. But O'Hare is just so huge that when we landed, there was no time to get there. And so the next day, we went to their flagship store over by Fenway Park.
Who's?
Not Fenway, Wrigley Field.
Yeah. Who?
What?
Where'd you go?
To Nuts on Clark.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Keeping track here.
So we went there and I was like so excited. So I got you like the triple decker. It had kettle corn, cheese popcorn, and then the caramel corn. And it
It's
was
all
delicious.
gone, by the way, already. So
Yeah, I have the one caramel corn bucket, and then we got more when we were flying home.
well, don't get ahead of yourself yet. We've
All
got the
right.
story.
Okay. I know.
So then I'm getting pictures, right? Like the day before I'm gonna meet her. I'm getting all these pictures and all the stories.
Yeah. I'm keeping you posted. Oh my God. I love this story. Okay. So I think you guys saw my live. This was just funny to me where I live. When I fly anywhere, we fly a lot. We usually fly once a year. And it is. Dad, what did you call it though? You said to me, what did you say to me? Doesn't Dave get to plan anything on this trip?
Yeah, like boobs on Debbie or something like that, right? Was that what
Yeah,
it was?
you hit me dying with that. So anyways, when we fly someplace, I always get the window seat because I like to watch us take off and land, and I like to look out the window and everything the whole time. And we're coming into Chicago, and I happen to look down, and it looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa is on the ground. And I know that we're in Chicago. We're not in Italy. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I thought I was losing my mind. So we get down and we're landing, and we get to the place that we were staying, which was beautiful. And I highly recommend Vrbo, VRBO, if you're going anywhere. Boobs
Are we
on
gonna make
Brenda.
are we gonna make any money by you saying that?
I wish we were. We don't have any sponsors. We need a sponsor. So I actually looked it up. I just put Leaning Tower of Pisa, Chicago, and sure enough, it's a replica of, and I saw it from the freaking airplane. And I thought I was losing it. I thought I was crazy. Why am I seeing the Leaning Tower of Pisa? It is a half-size replica in a town or neighborhood. I don't know how they do it down there. Do they call them all neighborhoods? Called Niles, just outside of Chicago. And so we went and visited it, and it was really cool. It actually was really nice. And I did a little live from there too. So that was fun.
Now you did a couple of, and I don't want to get too into it because we're gonna do some shows on it, but you went to a couple of cemeteries there.
Yeah. The same day we went to Anansi.
I'm not ready for it. I already shut my little bell up.
we went to Graceland Cemetery, and for the past year or so during the pandemic, there is this great author and local tour guide in Chicago. His name is Adam Selzer. He has a page called Mysterious Chicago, and he also works very closely with another tour group called Effing Chicago. And so they have been doing virtual tours of Chicago for the past year or so. And Damon's doing ding, ding, ding. And so I've been watching all the tours, and he does a lot of cemeteries because there's so much history to be found in cemeteries. And Graceland always fascinated me, the stories. So we drove right down the street from the popcorn place and Wrigley Field. We went to Graceland and we toured it, and it's absolutely huge. We actually got lost in there and we were looking for a specific grave, and we had to go back to the beginning to try to redo it because it was so big. It was so confusing. We spent probably 2 hours there. Unbelievably beautiful place. So we're going to do an episode on Graceland, and I'll tell you guys some stories and show you some pictures. It's fascinating. And then we also went that day down to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Now that one's been very, very much in the paranormal world, legends and lore type of shows for many, many years. Most Haunted Places. Bachelor's Grove is not one of the oldest cemeteries that you'll ever come across, but it's certainly one of the most famous, and it does have a lot of energy and hauntings associated with it. One of the most famous pictures was of a woman, an all-white woman, sitting on one of the stones. We'll talk about Bachelor's Grove a little bit more in a future episode. Maybe we'll do the two together. And definitely felt energy there. There was definitely energy there.
Cool.
And it was quite an experience. So that was a bucket list for me. I always wanted to see Bachelor's Grove, so I got to experience it in person. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
I think, Sarah, and we will definitely dip into that on another podcast. So then she hits Wisconsin and she goes to Mars Cheese Castle, where
and
she does.
The whole way, I'm sending him little screenshots of the map so he can see how far away we are. I was so
And the
excited.
closer she gets, the more I hive out. Like I start to have allergic reactions to it all. You know what I'm saying?
You were not. You would have loved Mars Cheese Castle.
I don't need that. I've had my fill. I mean, listen, I like cheese too.
You said
I don't need to go to a cheese castle.
It was fun.
I don't need to sit in the cheese chair.
It was fun.
God.
They had every kind of cheese. They even have chocolate cheese fudge that we couldn't find because I was going to try it, but they didn't. I gained 3 pounds, by the way, on this trip, just so you know.
I think it's probably more than that. But so then Friday night she came up. We did the little cemetery things up here. Then I had to work, and then we met up the next day and went to the farmers market, and then we stopped by one of the places that is in the movie Haunted State Theater of Shadows, which is the Grand Opera House in Oshkosh.
That was really cool. That
Yeah,
was
we
really,
didn't get to
really
go
neat.
in, but it's a
No.
really cool place, and we got a picture. And if you look close enough, we both have our purses on. She's got her purse. I've got my enema bag.
It's
And we
not
tried
an
to we
enema
tried to
bag.
hide it by getting really close, which I would rather have put my arm around my enema bag at that point. But
You were like all excited. You were all happy. Can I
I
say
was
something though?
happy.
You
Why
were
was I
happy.
happy?
You were
Why?
all happy. You were all happy because your BFF was spending time with
Oh
you.
my God! Stop. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Well, I will say this though. I put my hand on the building. It literally vibrates.
It
That
does.
building
Sure.
vibrates. Yeah, it's
And
interesting.
when we did go, and I don't want to give too much away because I'll get sued, but we had some pretty interesting stuff happen
Yeah.
at that location, and that was called Haunted State Theater of Shadows, and we hit a bunch of
Check.
theaters in Wisconsin.
Check it out. Definitely check
Amazon
it out.
Prime. So
Yep.
then that was Saturday, but then we went up to some place called Plainfield, Wisconsin, which is very well known for the Gein family.
Yeah. That was quite an experience. Well, first of all, we stopped and had lunch at Culver's, which I had never done before. Dave never did before. That was good.
Another
And
person that doesn't sponsor us that we're giving a plug to.
I know, which kind of I don't know. So we get to Plainfield. So we're driving to Plainfield. Actually, Dave's driving to Plainfield, and we both started to get. And I don't know if this was a little bit out of anticipation or.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I was trying. Yeah, I don't think so. I was starting to get the headache. You were feeling the pressure. The closer we got to Plainfield, that's what we were feeling. And we did it. We went to the cemetery, we went to the property, and we went to the hardware store.
So we found where the cemetery where the Gein family is buried. Ed Gein, of course, back in the 40s and 50s, crazy stories about him digging up bodies and taking skin from the bodies, the remains, and creating nipple belts and lampshades and skin suits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy stories.
His story actually inspired Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
The Psycho.
Right.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
And I think there was one more. It's slipping my...
Was there a TV show or something? Oh, no. Okay. Long story. Can I just take us off a little path here?
Yeah.
So on Mondays, I do a podcast called Real Ghost Stories Online with my friend Tony. And I was telling him about the weekend because I always save this kind of stuff to talk to him about. And he goes, well, there was a TV show back in the 90s that was based on it too. And he goes, I'm going to see if I can find the theme. Maybe it'll remind you. And then he played the theme from Growing Pains. So he's like, Jason Severs was based on Ed Gein. He's got the same kind of sense of humor I do. So
Lord.
At any rate, we got to the cemetery, and again, not a huge cemetery, but not small. I mean, it was a medium-sized cemetery.
It was nice. It was nice.
It
was bigger than I thought it was going to be. Because
Very well
in my
kept.
mind, I just pictured something almost like a bachelor's grove. Just something a little darker, a little more unkempt.
Very nicely kept. Whoever does the grounds there, very cool. We had no idea where the stones were actually kept. We really didn't.
We literally looked on Find a Grave, saw the stones, and had to kind of we could see a road behind them and had to kind of wander around to figure out where they were. And you found them.
So this is the stones right there. In fact, what gave it away is you see the 3 stones there. Mm-hmm. And then you see the empty spot there where Ed Gein is laid to rest. But the road behind it was in the pictures. And then that set of trees with the stone in the middle, that's kind of the point that I was looking for when I searched the graveyard. And there it sat. And the first thing I noticed, and I think we both kind of noticed, was that one of the stones, it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but one of the stones kind of presents itself a little bit taller, more powerful.
Yeah.
And that was the stone of Augusta
Mhm.
Gein.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stories say that she and her, I guess, powerful manners created what Ed became in later years.
Mhm.
So
And as you
there,
can see, people have been chipping away at that stone for
yeah, you can
years.
see, where's her right there? Yeah, see up in that left-hand corner there, they chip away at it and take it. And that's
Oh.
one of the reasons why Ed's stone is no longer there, because
Mhm.
people were messing with it so much, so they took it
Yeah,
away.
and it was actually stolen. I did a little bit because on the way home from there, we were kind of putting pieces together, doing a little research too after the fact to kind of put some pieces together. Apparently, it was stolen at one point. Ended up on a tour, like a dark metal group's tour. Um, it got taken back, and now it's with the sheriff's department, I believe, in their basement. Yeah.
Okay. So there's
So,
Daddy, George Gein,
yeah.
who passed away in 1940.
Mhm.
Um, there's Mom. She died in 1945.
Mhm.
There's Brother, who died
Henry.
in 1944. And there was a lot of speculation about whether or not he died of natural causes or if
Mhm.
possibly he died at the hands of his brother.
Mhm. The general consensus, the unofficial general consensus is that that was Ed as well.
Yeah,
So
that
we
Ed did that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we grabbed our equipment. I had a millimeter with me, which Dave was using, and I had my digital voice recorder,
We'll get to that in a
and
second.
I love that. And, you had the spirit box. And so we were sort of running everything simultaneously, which was a great way to do it because it was very windy that day. And my digital recorder is extremely sensitive. And I was pretty sure I wasn't going to pick up too much of anything because it was so windy. It happened to me in Gettysburg too one time. It was cicada time and they were so loud that I couldn't pick up anything. So it was good that we were kind of using everything at the same time. And, we got some interesting stuff with your spirit box.
Yeah, some spirit boxes are one of those things where I kind of get them and
Mhm,
I kind of believe it, but then there's also a lot of interference and stuff where
mhm.
you're like, that's probably nothing.
They're
What I
very
would
hit or miss. They're
Yeah,
very
and
hit
I
or
and I
miss.
think that can be with a lot of equipment, to be
Yes.
honest with you. You have
Yeah,
to see if it reacts, you have to take into account what's going on at that
right.
time.
Agreed.
With the spirit box, there's certain things you have to look for. Mel meters, there's certain things you've got to be aware of, K2
Right.
meters, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I think what we should do is actually do a um a bonus episode where we actually
Mhm.
share that audio. We can
Yeah,
actually talk through it.
yeah. I would like to because it was very interesting. How long is that? I think that's about 7 or 8
It's about like
minutes
5 or
worth of
6
audio.
minutes. Yeah, yeah.
I took all of the bigger pieces and sort of put them together to get because it was 30 minutes worth of audio that we had. So I took it to the most important moments, of it, and it's really actually kind of fascinating, the answers that we were getting, the things that were coming through. I
One of the
Yeah.
things that I remember standing there and you had an experience,
Mhm.
remember touching
We'll talk about it.
Augustus. You wanna talk about it
Yeah,
right
we can
now? Or do
talk
you wanna
about
talk
it.
about Yeah, I mean,
It's up to you.
you had a very moving experience
Mhm.
that day,
Yeah,
um, when you went up to Augusta Stone.
yeah. Do you wanna talk about it? I
Yeah,
can
let's
talk
talk
about it.
about that.
So, I had I was standing there and I felt alright, how can I say this? I felt Ed there. I felt some male energy there. I can't say for certain it was Ed because it wasn't evil energy. Like it wasn't a dark presence. It could have been very well. It could have been Henry. It could have been George. But there was a male energy there. It wasn't that strong though. It was not that strong. But I felt a female energy there. And I kind of at one point because I feel like let me just preface what I'm about to say with I feel like that part of my journey is to experience things because, again, if you're closed minded about everything, if all I ever experience is rainbows and unicorns and placid spirits, It's not going to teach me everything that I need to know. And if I'm on a journey, I want to be able to experience it all. I will say not once did I feel afraid, but I put my hand on her stone, and sometimes I can touch objects like the opera house, and I felt that vibration. You can feel the vibration of things. Sometimes you can feel, sometimes I felt Dennis's house. I put my hand on a rocking chair that belonged to, I believe, his great grandmother. I could feel her attached to it. I could feel a female energy attached to it. So I put my hand on there, and I was not expecting what happened to me next. I've thought about it a lot since then. What happened was I just started to cry. I got tears in my eyes and I started to cry. And it was not out of sadness. I felt this dark void. This dark void. That's what it was. It was darkness. I just cried. And so I took my hand off and I calmed down, and I did it a couple more times because yeah, Damon, yeah, that's kind of how I felt with the beam at the church too. But not to this extent. Like, this was just a void. Like, I can't even explain it fully just by my I just know how
Your
I
words
felt.
can't, yeah, your words
Yeah,
can't
I just know
express
how
it.
I felt.
I will tell you
And
that
I
she
cried.
looked at me. Yeah, she looked at me. She goes, I'm crying. And her lip was quivering and all that.
Yeah. I literally had tears in my eyes. I was crying, but it wasn't sadness. Uh, it made me really angry, is what it did. I didn't feel anger because it was such a black void. There was no emotion there. I think that's part of what made me angry about it. I've only ever experienced emotion when I touch things or stuff like that, or things like that. But I got really angry. Um, I feel like she is, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like she is the overwhelming energy in that space of 4 grapes. She is evil. You want to talk about evil? Augusta Gein is evil. And I mean that. That's how I feel now after that.
Well, and I always backed up and I said, I'm not quite sure that there wasn't some sort of energy beyond her that
Mhm.
took over and did all this stuff. One of the things I felt is I felt a little bit of an odd story between Augusta and her and the wife, and Augusta and I'm sorry, her husband.
Yeah,
I
I
felt
agree.
that there was something not right there.
Mhm.
And I felt like there was an injustice between them. Something happened that wasn't quite right. And then we did some research and found out that they actually got married a month before the first son was born,
Mhm.
which we
They
found
got
out later.
married December 11th
Right.
of 1900,
100.
and Henry was born, I think it was January, or
January 2,
January
yep, 1901.
of 1901. So, he was an alcoholic, couldn't keep a job. I believe he was also abusive. She was stuck in a marriage that she didn't wanna be in. And then, I also, doing research, found out that she had wanted a girl and Ed was born. And so, I think when you take that dynamic, that family dynamic, and you take someone who was probably raised to be a religious fanatic in a situation with someone who is an alcoholic and an abuser, that nothing good is gonna come from it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I even mentioned on the way home, I feel like So my philosophy, and we're going to talk a little bit about the land the house sat on in just a second, but I don't feel like something came to them and overtook them as far as evil or energy like that. I feel like the energy that they created as a family is what overtook them.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I totally agree with you on that.
So look at these two badasses.
Yeah.
Again, hiding the purses in the picture. I remember we actually made it a point to throw them across the back so you couldn't see them.
I know.
And they got really close so they wouldn't show up.
Yep. That was an awesome picture, though. I thought that was really, really good. Shout out to Dave for that really cool picture. But yeah, so it was really interesting at the cemetery.
And then we go find the land that the house sat on, which has a gate and like no trespassing stuff up.
Right.
And, you know, there's stories online. Don't go on there. The cops will come get you.
Mm-hmm.
And so who gets on there and goes out there and walks on the land? But Sandy the Mistwalker. Listen. And we're going to get a t-shirt that on the front it says listen. And then you can put various sayings in the back. So like, listen, you don't know a good show. Listen, I'll dance on your grave if I want to. Listen, you know.
I'm surprised you haven't brought that up yet.
Oh, we're going to get there.
So I said, you know what? I'm at Ed Gein's property. I'm getting out of this stupid car and I'm walking in and I'm going to look at what's back there because I'm not going to sit in the car. I'm just not going to do it. So I got out. I did touch the ground to see what I felt. It was a little active, but it was nothing. I don't think it was anything crazy. So I did take some pictures. And when you walk behind the gate, you can see the old driveway path.
Which again,
you can kind of follow
if you walk behind the gate, you're breaking the law. Because I'll make that mention really quick.
Oh, like I'm the only one that ever does that.
Just
right?
saying.
I'm the only one who ever does that. So it was really, actually, it was pretty easy to find. I was a little surprised. It was just very easy to find. And so you walk back in a little bit and I can see where I think the house actually sat. You can kind of see a clearing back there where the house actually sat. It wasn't too far off the road. So I only went in probably 25 feet or so. I just wanted to kind of see what was behind the trees along the thing. And so, yeah, there was obviously it's private property, but there was like a little shack there that had some sort of heating device on it. I don't know if they use it for hunting land now. Probably. It's probably a hunter's type shack. Yeah. And so, but it's a nice piece of land. I think they had like 109 acres or something. And the house was burnt down a year after Ed was arrested because some entrepreneur was going to, and this was interesting, in 1958, an entrepreneur was going to buy it and make it into a Halloween house of horrors. And so somebody burnt it down, which wouldn't surprise me if the town itself burnt it down.
Right. Like they didn't have enough bad, juju going on there.
Oh, you can feel, I don't know if you felt it too. I'm sure you did, but you can feel like a heaviness over the whole town. Well,
but I'm the kind of person I can feel that in every town. Like you just know there's shit that happens in every town that nobody talks about. So
yeah. And these people still live in the shadow of this. How many years later? 50 years later?
I got dorks like us showing up. I mean, we're sitting there in the cemetery just knowing the police are going to come out and say, "What you kids doing out there? You get away from that Gein family."
I literally kept looking towards the road because there's a lot of traffic on the road. I kept looking, waiting for the sheriff to come in and be like, "Okay, you can't be doing that here." But
my name's Sheriff Potter. What you doing over there? So, so this is the picture that we were talking about. And then two things. Number one, before we left, I'm just going to throw this out there. You can say whatever you want to her. But the girl there on the right, not the one on the left, the girl there on the right danced on the grave of Augusta Gein. Now,
I did. Mm-hmm.
At that point, I said, "Augusta, I'm out of here. See you later, alligator." Okay.
Yep.
But
I did.
So, and I'll be honest, I don't think it was appropriate. But then Damon to the rescue, because he made a meme that says, "I always go with respect, blah, blah, blah. But I'm known for moonwalking on a few graves, Sandy Gein."
No, all I'm going to say is this. After the experience, normally I would never have done that, but after the experience that I had
Mhm.
with the gravestone and the anger that I felt, like, I was angry. I was very angry. That was an anger I don't think I'd ever felt because I almost felt, and I know that it was my idea, maybe, to put my hand on the grave. Maybe it wasn't my idea because I kind of felt compelled to do it. But I will say this: I was so angry that it was just it was like all I could do to say Augusta, F you. And it was truly out of anger that I did that. And I don't regret it at all because I was so angry. Those emotions that you feel when you're investigating, you uh, whether you have abilities or not, you still have emotions when you're investigating. And to take them times 1,000 the way that took me, um, it was just my reaction to it. It was just my reaction to
So let me ask you this,
it.
and I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, you can.
So let's say Augusta was not a nice individual. We know that. We think that. What if she had been somehow either possessed by her own doing or by an outer source, and an evil spirit, evil energy took over her, and that's why she did the things she did?
Okay.
Is she then worthy of a grave dance, really, or not?
Probably not.
Yeah. See,
No,
that's why
but like I said, it was completely like it was just an automatic thing I did because I was so angry. Like it was the only thing I could think of at the time. I didn't even think about it. It was a compulsion. It was something I just did out of anger,
Send your complaints directly to Sandy Gein, care of the Sandy and Toddcast. And then we got another great meme because apparently on one of our last podcasts, we were talking about, I don't even know what the hell we were talking about.
I don't know.
It was something about shoving stuff down your throat.
Oh my gosh, on the audio cast.
Yeah,
remember?
well, what were we talking about, though?
I don't remember, but we were talking about shoving something down your throat, and then it kind of went in a weird direction.
Correct. So then Damon, our good friend, takes that wonderful picture, which I showed you earlier, and creates another meme that says, Sandy and Todd shoving it down your throat, which I just love.
I love it, too. Damon's going to be our new meme generator.
Generator?
Generator.
He's going to be our new Gein generator.
Our new meme generator. I love Damon.
So we had a very nice vacation.
It was wonderful.
And then they left and it was sad, and now I'm over it.
But let's briefly
we got to talk about Saturday night, right?
Saturday night, because I just have to thank everybody who came out. My heart is so full. Like, between us getting to spend time together and getting to finally meet almost everybody who's part of this podcast in person, hang with them, have drinks with them.
Well, at least everybody who's local here, you did,
yes.
Who's
local. I mean, obviously we couldn't get Sudi, Sudi, we'll get to you. I promise. I love you. But everybody who's local came out. We had Jason Mansmith came out. Lisa Hall and her husband Dave came out. Your cousin Tammy came out. Victoria, your sister Vicky and her husband Don.
Drew came out. Drew and Carissa.
Drew and Carissa were out. And actually, you, me, Jay, Dave, Drew and Carissa, and Vicky and Don. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that was everybody. Tammy went. And Tammy. We all went to a second place after and had another drink. And that was so much fun.
So thanks for everybody.
I know you were making fun of me about something. And I was just sitting there smiling because like my heart was so full. It was just so awesome,
I thought it would be fun if I brought some fortune cookies and then read the fortunes.
Okay.
The problem is I can't see them. They're too small.
Oh. Is that because you're old?
Yep.
Why are you eating? Why are you eating? What you had Panda
fortune
Express
cookie
for dinner tonight?
Fortune cookie. I told you I was going to read them, and now I can't.
I know, but I don't know. So we had a great time. So we're already making plans for next year.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that our friendship lasts until then. I'm still hoping that I die of a debilitating disease between now and
Why
then, so I
do
don't
I
actually
put
have to.
up with you? Why do I put up with you like I do? Oh, yeah. I love you, you big jerk.
Look at this
So,
big bald spot right here. It looks like Washington State, Oregon would be here, and then this is California right down this way. I'm like doing the weather forecast. Look at this big spot right here that no longer has hair.
You know what,
Right
though?
there.
Honestly, unless you're pointing at it, nobody's even noticing it.
Look at that. Look at the hair. Look at this one. Yes,
And
you
what did
can see it.
Listen, and what
Look
did I
at this.
send you?
Look at this here. Look at
And what?
look at all the hair that's gone. I literally washed my hair this morning and there was nothing left on my head. Jesus.
Well, what did I do? I tried to help you. I sent you that laser hat that you can put on
I
your
don't
head
need a laser hat.
to stimulate hair growth.
I had the
This
best
is our
hair.
relationship.
I had the best hair on this fucking podcast, and now that's gone because I was walking around with a fucking enema bag hanging off my shoulder.
It is not an enema bag. It'll grow back though.
Shit
It'll
bucket
grow
or whatever
back.
they put on you.
It was not. It was antibiotic. What was it? Penicillin?
It was just stuff, some kind of mixture of stuff. My pee still smells from it. I can tell you that.
Does it?
All right, yeah.
Too much information. TMI.
All right, we've had fun.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us.
Anything else you want to add? Oh, wait a minute. I got one more picture.
Oh, which one?
This one.
Oh my God, I was so excited. I said, Dave, we were in the airport, and I said, Dave, you got to take a picture under the Nuts on Clark sign for me so I can send it to Todd because he'll love it. Oh, let me tell you guys something. I thought that O'Hare was going to be insane because every time I've been at O'Hare, it's insane. It is a shadow of what it normally is.
That's
it was
good.
So nice to be able to travel. If you are going to travel now.
Oh, God.
Because I'm telling you, it was so much better.
Please don't take travel advice from a woman who walks into black mists and dances on the graves of dead people. Please don't do that.
All right,
I'm just going to put my hand on this stone here and, I'm crying.
It was weird. It was
another one of those.
It was really strange. Yeah, but that was a different situation. This was really.
Doesn't matter.
I had no
it was all the
control
same.
Over it. I had no control over it.
When you cry, it's always the same. It's like, I cry.
That's how I cry. Stop making fun of me, you jerk.
All right. Obviously, I'm feeling better.
Guys, do me a huge favor. Please do me a huge favor. Do us a huge favor. Go on our page and leave us a quick 5-star review. Seriously, please leave it for us because we really want to move up. And thank you to all of our new followers on the page. I see we have about 5 new followers, so thank you to everybody. Oh, the phone's ringing.
Do we have time to get that yet? Can I do that?
Sure, why not?
Right. Hi. Yeah, it's the Sandy and Toddcast. I mean, I've tried to tell her, but I'll pass it along. All right. And to you. Bye. So that was Augusta Gein.
Oh.
And basically she has now challenged you to a dance-off on her grave. So the next time you're up there.
She's going to have to wait till next year. I'm thinking
I'm
June.
just saying.
I'm thinking June.
I'm just saying. It'd be like Dancing with the Corpses will be the new show on ABC.
Dancing with the Spirits.
Are we done?
I think we are. We'll see you guys next week. No idea yet what we're doing. We're brainstorming, figuring out where we want. I think we're going to do Graceland probably next week. Maybe
you
next
think
week
so?
We'll do Graceland maybe and Bachelor's Grove. That one's coming up soon.
We'll figure that out. But we will have bonus information about our visit to the cemetery of the Gein family. So
that will be in our group. Put it in our group.
Okay.
So that won't be on our regular page. So if you want to hear that, please be sure to join our group, Stay Weirdos, Friends of the Sandy and Toddcast, if you haven't already.
Renee, thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.